The next could be, I don't know, past life regression.
This experience has given me a fresh outlook on life because now I feel more connected to myself and my family.
Throughout this journey, I felt immense gratitude for my family and upbringing, deeply moved by the love I've seen and felt.
Everything in the universe is made up of energy, and we come from a non-physical reality into this physical time-space matrix to express ourselves as an individual in this lifetime. When we experience certain incidents in our life and certain experiences that we've not let go, we've gone through traumatic experiences that we've not forgiven, we've not kind of made peace with, this energy gets trapped in our energy field as a residual energy or an unprocessed energy, and it goes as imprints in our soul. So past life regression therapy is primarily a process through which we go into a past timeline and space and dimension to release any traumatic memories that have stayed stuck in our energy field that are recurring as some kind of trauma in my current lifetime. We need to understand is when we're going through any traumatic memory of the past, these are unprocessed memories that our brain has stored or our energy field has stored. And the fun thing about our brain is our brain cannot tell the difference between past, present and future. So living a past memory for your brain can be that it's happening in the now because your brain cannot tell the difference between imagination and reality. There is a possibility that you might get re-traumatized. And the second space is also your nervous system goes through that trauma, and it's like producing the chemicals of the fight and flight or the non-reset state. So integrating past life with ice bath session really helps us put your nervous system at rest, and it resets your nervous system, number one. Number two, one ice bath session can produce almost 250% more dopamine in your brain, and that is that feel-good chemical. So it's also cue to your brain to tell you that, nothing traumatic has happened to you in the now, and you're in a safe space. So it's more like an integrative approach where I marry breath work and ice bath therapy. Intensive breath work, conscious connected breathing and holotropic breath, we take you into an altered state of consciousness and release any memories that your energy field is ready to release in the now moment. So marrying both of these modalities are very integrative and they leave you very safe. However, going through a regressive modality or a therapy definitely unlocks a lot of potential energy because that energy was trapped as dark matter and was unused and it was causing destruction. So the same energy now we process it and we put it back into motion so that you could use it as potential energy to manifest your future. So it's all very connected, the past, present, future. So we unlock your past energy and that energy becomes your potential energy to manifest your future. A process of past life regression or any trauma releasing is a great responsibility for the healer because at that moment they're playing the role of a rebirther. We are actually in that space where we are giving this person a new life. And it's really important for the connection to be strong, sensitive, and safe. So as a therapist or a healer, it is our job to provide a very safe emotional container inside of which our nervous system is really, really integrated. Because if it's not, then, it's going to take your nervous system into a fear or a fight and flight mode, and achieving that result is not really possible. So a therapist or a healer would use the essence of exciting all the five senses. So making you feel safe. Visually, the place has to feel nice, light, and maybe the smell in the place has to like smell good, and the music has to be really nice and safe for your ears. So when you make your five senses really safe, your nervous system gets a cue that, okay, it's safe for us to now surrender and let go of our ego, because our ego is like a barrier that's stopping us from moving into a paradigm we don't want to go and see that. So it's really essential to create a very safe container in this modality, and the connection is really critical. And the second most interesting evidence I want to talk about is the fundamental theory of observation, or the double slit experiment in quantum physics, a very well proven experiment which states that it is in the space of an observer that reality is manifested. So in this particular container, here the therapist acts as an observer, and it is inside of their observation the participants are able to see the truth that they need to see and release. And hence, it's really important to recognize and connect with the therapist and the healer, and just not go to any place where that fear of leaving open wounds are there.
Past life regression done. Ice bath done. We're looking really cool right now. We're feeling cool right now, right?
Yes.
Experience-wise, it took me through a roller coaster, right?
I agree. Yes.
From being anxious and then getting a little excited, and then what happened after, getting a bit nervous as we got closer to, I think, the actual experience, which was super deep for both of us.
Yes.
How did this all come about? Because you just told me one day, Natasha, we're going for past life regression therapy.
Yes.
I was like, okay.
So we came across Ramon's profile, right? She was like a very super cool person with, I had like this, specifically that video of her doing that 40-minute ice bath. Oof. Like, I don't know, like that just like clicked for me. And I was like, you know what? This is the woman that I want to be actually going under the whole experience. Now, Ramon, so not just like she has 30 years of experience, but also she learned it from the pioneer himself, Brian Weiss. And I was like, oof. So for people those who don't know, just go and like Google him. You would know who he is, right? So yeah, I came across her profile, got on a call. Like we both had a call with her.
Yes, in that call, I think both of us had like two very different. I think I felt very safe. Like, the minute she picked up the call, there was like a smile, a glimmer in her face. Yeah. And I was like, okay, she's chill. She's got positive vibes. So I was like, okay, maybe this is someone, sometimes it really depends on who you're, kind of going through the therapy with. Like, can you trust this person? You're going to be in your vulnerable state. Like, can you be that vulnerable? Like, can I cry in front of her? So looking at her, I was like, okay, yeah, she's like a person I can cry in front of in case I have to. Not knowing how much we would after.
Something very beautiful that I liked. So she did seek permission, and then said, would you want me to set the intention for you? And then went on like to say all of this that I'm gonna say. So basically, she asked me, did your mom had like anxiety during like she was pregnant with you, right? And I was like, okay, it was like so that, but like I was also taken aback, but like also I felt it was important to like set the whole context, because she did ask me, as a child, do you always feel burdened about, things and everything, like a lot of responsibility? Why? Yes. So I'm someone like who runs away from responsibility. Something that's not so visible, but like she was on, like, with the first call, she was able to pick that up. Was like very fascinating for me. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I met her for the first time, and for her to suddenly like just look at me and she was like, so, Natasha, I'm like, yeah. Did your mom have difficulty giving birth to you? And I was like, whoa, okay, yeah. I mean, not many people know this. Like, my mom knows it, I know it. And yeah, my mom did have difficulties, like, when I was in the process of meeting the world. So yeah, it was just like, how did she know this? I had questions, but I was also like, okay, what after? And I'll be open to this conversation. And I think, so she was like, okay, through your phase right now, and again, if you want me to set an intention for you, it would just be life and, your life's purpose. And I was like, honestly, I just moved to India like 7 months ago. I left my friends, I left my family, I left everything that I was so used to. So I have been questioning that, and for her to like drop that word like an intention, I was like, holy crap, like someone knows something.
Yeah. Like for me also, like, because of the whole conversation that we had with Dr. Ramon, something that I really liked is like I got that space with my mom where we actually sat down together and we spoke about it. And it was just so nice, like, especially where my mom is like, it's been years, right? I'm 28 today, which means 28 years she had never shared this about the whole anxiety thing, right? Just imagine, just because of that call, I go back home, sit with my mom,
you
have the conversation.
Yeah.
And she, like, I still, like, it's just like, it's 4 days after, right?
Yeah.
I still remember, like, how my mom felt like, it's like, finally, I'm able to just share.
And I guess even it was a beautiful experience for her to, kind of be open about this.
I was like, it was just so, what do I say? Gift in disguise?
Yeah.
Blessing in disguise? Kind of a thing. So it was not just for myself, but also for my mom and the relationship that we have. So I think that is something like this whole experience, I don't know.
Kind of triggered, in a
it
way,
was
right?
Nice. Yeah. So how did you feel when we came in the morning?
I came to the office, then I saw you, and then, you were like, you looked a bit like, tired and swollen and like, I don't know. Looking at you, I felt a little like nervous, and I was like, shit, okay, time is getting closer. And now, in a few hours, we're going to have to go through this therapy. Am I 100% for it? Not. But, Dr. Ramon's words kept me going, because she clearly said this, and I was like, okay, it's not going to be a bad experience. She said there won't be any open wounds left after the experience. So I was like, okay, at least I won't leave with any baggage with me. That was something I was a little afraid of. Like, what if I go through this process and what if I don't feel good after, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, then we had this whole, journey to the place, because it was pretty far from where we were. And as soon as we got there, holy, like, whoa.
Yeah.
It was an urban oasis, like actually, from going to where the buildings are and high rises are, and then going to like this really pretty farmhouse type of situation. I just felt very calm because I love green.
Me too. It's like plant mom.
Yeah. Plant moms here.
And I think like first after we met her in the office, we moved into the meditation hall, right?
Where we were going to actually have the experience.
How did you feel about that?
I mean, at that moment, again, I was a lot of things running through my mind, but also myself telling my mind to be like, okay, Ratu, like, keep it quiet, focus on your intention and just be. Whatever the experience is, good or bad, happy or sad, take it and, just be. Like, it was so seamless. We sat down, although we had to do the whole, like, we were preparing and setting up and stuff, it didn't feel overwhelming.
Yeah.
Like, we sat down and immediately it was like we were in our space, in our bubbles.
Yes.
And even though we were doing this whole experience together, I still felt it was so individual.
When do we start?
We started with the breath work. It was intense. I mean, it's not your normal, like, breathing. It was like...
I was like, shit.
And it was like really activating, like, I don't know, that life force within us. And it was just non-stop to the beat of the music. The pace was like, picking up. And we were doing it, and it was just getting like, what do I focus on? Currently, my breath or my thoughts, right? And also the music was so good that I was like, okay, I could vibe to this also. So what do I do?
So it's actually why we do this is to actually activate our root chakra.
Yeah.
So why root chakra is because mostly our traumas,
our energies, bad energies.
Yes, it's all stored there, right? So we need to actually release that in order to get into this whole experience. So I think that was really nice.
Gives us the why, and she gives us logic behind it, which makes it feel like, okay, I could trust the process and just be.
And then we move into
I think
the experience.
the experience itself.
Yes. So, how was it for you?
So after that, intense breath work that we did, and we, were in Shavasana, we were lying down, and she just told us, I remember her words very clearly. She was like, just surrender.
Yeah.
And she said it multiple times, or maybe I heard it, she said it multiple times.
She said, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay, yeah. So she said it multiple times, and she put her hand, or palm, whatever, like on my lower abdomen, and she just held it for a while. I think, I'm not sure, I should have asked, but I'm not sure what it signified, but it kind of made me feel like, okay, she's around. So that made me feel like very, very comfortable. I was in that full like relaxed mode. I was able to like really be and accept what is and what will come.
For me, it was intense. Oh shit. Like when you say the energy, I felt like, oh my god, like my body is about to break. It was that intense for me.
Yeah, I've never experienced that.
I literally called out for her. I'm like, Ramon, I'm not able to like, sort of literally my hands were like so tight. I literally felt like they were swollen.
Yeah.
And like, just imagine you're in a very, a place where it's snowing, and then you suddenly feel your hands
you're
gone numb.
and weird, like tingling, cramps almost. When you get the cramps on your feet, it almost felt like that.
Yeah, it was just
like
so
my
hard.
fingers were like, like T-Rex. Yeah, it was like that though.
Yeah.
I think that constant breathing and in that motion, in that pace, and she's constantly like, not whispering in our ears, but she was breathing in our ears to kind of tell us, okay, keep this pace, keep continuing, don't stop. And I think that process made us feel so intense energetically. And then through that, like for me, like I'm not sure about my past. Like I'll be honest, I didn't see who I was in my past life. I wasn't an animal. I don't know, not my grandparent. But I saw my childhood, right? Like for me, I just saw a flashback of memories. But again, I don't know if that was like subconsciously me thinking about those things during the week, because I was kind of missing home, and I was like feeling a bit nostalgic about things. I went through before Dr. Ramon's call also, I was looking through like my childhood pictures. But I did not see the same pictures I saw during that meditation. So I don't know what it was. Like, was it through my mom's eyes that I saw myself? But it just felt so loved.
Oh, Jesus.
And I was crying tears of joy. I was like, who cries smiling? And that was happening. I could not even control not smiling, but I was crying and smiling. So that happened. I don't know. You, on the other hand, I could hear you.
Oh shit!
But I tried not to focus.
Oh shit! Like I didn't know. Like it was just like, it was also not just the the mental aspect of it, but also physically, I was feeling just so much.
Yeah.
Because of the entire energy, like I was saying. So I literally felt like a surge of energy around my pelvis.
Yeah.
Right? Around my chest, and then around my throat and my fingers, like the crab fingers.
Yeah.
So like it was just so I feel intense, like even physically for me. So that was one aspect of it. Okay. So I'm also dealing with that. The other part is, of course, like, we're constantly breathing. So, right. So you constantly supply through like so much oxygen.
Yeah.
Right. And now it's just like, then she slows you down.
Yeah.
And then she's like, think about the intention and everything, right? So now what happens is, it's like I told you, like I had my conversation with my mom. So it was really nice. I mean, like, I've never heard that kind of a story from my mom, right? We never sat down and we actually spoke about how she felt and everything. But you won't believe, those are scenes that I've never seen in my life, because of course I'm in her like tummy, right?
Yeah. Like, how would you see
That's
that?
what, like, I would, like, the thing is, like, even I won't have any idea of how it would look, but still ended up seeing all of those scenes, right? So it was so much of me being in that scene, while my mom did share about her being anxious, while on the other hand, it was me who was anxious looking at her.
Yeah.
While
like you were
she
feeling...
felt so calm And it was actually her who was like,
comforting you.
comforting me. And it's like, oh my God, I don't know. I also had this whole surge of guilt, like where even in this state, she has to be the one to be, caring about me and think more about me than herself at that point. But also, I feel it was also the guilt part, but also the reassurance part.
Yeah, that she's there.
Yeah,
no matter what.
like everything is okay, kind of a thing. Is why this entire thing was just so, I don't know.
This is very moving, I think, right?
Yeah,
like,
and very emotional.
So beautiful.
And, like, I was like, I remember crying like crazy.
Yeah.
It was just like, but like, if you, I don't know, like, I hope you get to watch the footage, but like, the footage would be like, me crying like intensely.
Yeah.
And then like at a point, I'm like, I'm like trying to soothe myself. I don't know. It's also me hugging my mom, right? So I'm like, gosh,
oh my God. But then what brought that intensity down was, after when she kind of like, very in a calm voice, even the music kind of went down and she was like, okay, imagine yourself in your mother's womb and just curl up. And we curled up.
Yeah.
And that feeling of just, I usually sleep like that anyway, but that feeling of being curled up intentionally felt so safe, like so beautiful, so nice. Just like there is something around us, like there is good energy around us. Let's take that, right?
Yeah.
Eventually we, she told us, when you're ready, like go back into Shavasana.
Yeah.
Breathe slowly.
Stretch
We were almost coming towards the end at this point, right? Yeah, but I still felt so much energy like here that I would just kind of wanted to like, it almost felt like I want to throw up all this energy, like this, I don't know, maybe it was bad energy or like, stored trauma or stored, I'm not sure what to call it, but yeah, she then, just made us relax, lie down. We went back to our like breathing, and we were almost towards the end of that. She was like, come with me, come with me. So she took us back into the room.
Yeah.
And she played this like tribal trance type of track.
Yes. We were all jumping.
We went a little like cray. And that release, just shaking everything, going crazy with our head, our hair, head banging, just jumping around, running around the room to that music.
Yeah.
Just release that for me.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Even I felt really heavy post the whole thing, right? Because the entire experience is heavy. And like for you also.
It put a smile on your face also after.
I still remember. So like after the whole experience, I was like all emotional and everything. And like, but like after dancing, I was like, oh,
I'm back.
I'm back.
Yeah.
I'm back. When we were doing the breath work, so it's actually so DMT is a substance that people induce, right, to reach that high.
Yeah.
So she does this whole thing without the substance, just through breath work. So what we experienced was DMT without the substance.
But and then the best of all was us knowing we were going for an ice bath. That was like really the cherry on the top of a cake, right?
It was so nice. But I have to say, I was really scared.
Yeah, well, it was my second time, your first.
Yeah, my first time. And like from your experience that I heard back then, it was
very different.
Like for me, because for a first timer, getting into like 300 kgs of ice was like, oof.
Yeah, like how are you going to do that? I think it was the whole prep that we did. Again, we did that whole like, breathwork thing, and then we did the box breathing.
We did the fire breathwork. So it was really nice. I think the prep was really good because I think you have to tell this.
And it was also a surprise because we had like a few other people who joined us. So we weren't alone in that, that whole experience.
Yes.
Whereas like, I think if it was just the two of us and we were also thinking of what just happened, that whole emotional thing, and then, us going into an ice bath.
Yes.
Like it really helped that there were other people around. And they were like pretty nice people,
Very
like
chill, very cool.
chill, and they were very like encouraging.
Yes.
I think you did really well.
Yeah, because like
Yeah.
the thing is, I'm telling you, so I'm someone who really loves adventure, right?
Yeah.
I go for paragliding, bungee jumping, and these things really don't scare me. I find thrill in them, right?
It's
So
just
I was like,
adrenaline.
suddenly it was like, you know what, I got it
You're gonna
done.
go do this.
Yes, I can do this, and that's how like I went in. It was really nice that Raman was still there with us,
Yeah.
guiding us through the entire process. Like, you know, you need to actually breathe in
Yeah.
and let
exhale.
go, you know, while we're entering the whole ice bath.
Yeah.
So it's like we went in. For me, apparently, what happened is like you feel the shock when you enter.
Yeah.
Like for me,
the
it felt
first
like
few
that.
seconds.
Yeah, for a few seconds. But after that, I don't know why, but I felt really warm inside.
Because your body almost gets so numb that you don't feel you're in ice, which is like very ironic. But this time around, like, you know, with the right instructions and, you know, her telling me to, you know, inhale, exhale and go down and then box breathe. It felt so like I was just chilling,
No?
quite literally. Yeah, I was just chilling in the ice. I hit my first 5 minutes and 20 seconds or something.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. That's
first
something
time
I
I did
didn't
it-
know.
Yeah, I did 5:20. And then I never did the dunk. That made me feel cold. I was like brain freeze. Yeah. After that, I was like, okay, I gotta get out. I'm done. Thanks.
Like for me to like, the thing is, it felt really comfortable when it was just like this part of the body in the ice water. But like as it is like, so I was like, okay, you know, I've reached a girl.
Yeah,
why not just
what
that
big,
as well? Like, you know, what kind of difference would it make when I'm actually feeling comfortable here? But then like when we actually go down, whew, I was like,
I can still feel it.
you see my footage, I'm like, I'm like just so, I'm so shocked by the entire thing.
I think that's what it's meant to do.
Yeah.
Like kind of shock your senses.
Yeah.
But it was like, it's such a good way to end it, you know?
Yes.
Like, I feel like if we didn't have the ice bath, we just went home, I don't know, I would probably be thinking about it. But that ice bath made me kind of like let go about what happened. I honestly, like from the very beginning, I was like, okay, you know, because my sister-in-law had done it and my husband had done it. So I was like, you know what? They saw their past lives.
Yeah.
Like, am I going to know what I was? You know, that question you had when you were in the office.
Yeah.
What did you think you would be?
What if I turn out to be a criminal?
Right? Like, you know, what if you were a bad guy? Like, or what if you were an animal or like a tree or I don't know. So I was a bit of like afraid to know what I was or like what I would like. I didn't want to carry any of that.
She also talks about how time is not that just this life or like the past life. It's all happening at the present, at the now.
Yeah.
Right. So which means for this soul, even your childhood or your childbirth or like during when you were in the fetus, right? As a fetus, not in the fetus, when you were the fetus, right? So you can actually have trauma at that point as well, right? So that could also
that energy
count.
carries.
Yeah, they could also count as your past life. So which means that is also your past life because you've already been there, right?
Yeah.
So why? From people's context, past life, we didn't get to visit. Of course, that would need, you know, more sessions to actually, like, you know, actually let
Activate
your body
that and like get to there. At that point.
Get to that point, right? So while we did for this whole experience just one session, hence we were able to reach our childhood.
Yeah.
Right? For me, it was to an extent like when I was in my mom's womb, right? So that's like how far we went.
Yeah.
So I think like for a lot of people, it might take, you know, maybe 2-3 sessions, or maybe for us, right, 2-3 sessions, or for some maybe 2. So it depends. So it depends, like highly depends on the people going for the whole experience.
Yeah.
So yeah. And how did you feel after?
I do feel content and I feel like that was a very beautiful, like very profound experience that I will take with me. And I think even what Dr. Ramon said kind of stuck with me, where she said, you know, it might not happen tomorrow, it might not happen today, where you feel these effects, but they'll gradually like, it'll build up over time and it'll come out.
Yes.
Either as maybe a behavioral change or like, energy change or like in the way I see things. It will happen gradually. So I'm not like, honestly, I'm not thinking too much about it. I'm just letting it be.
I was literally asking, is this like one of the most, I don't know, like intense
It's the most
experience?
intense I've ever felt. I've never gone so far in terms of meditation or being with myself.
Never.
It was the most.
Yes.
This reached. Yeah. Broke the record.
For me too.
Both emotionally and physically.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree. Like 100% agree.
Yeah.
So,
but wait, like, okay, we kind of have to drop this too, that, you know, Dr. Ramon kind of has like quite a backing with her, okay? Like the whole ice bath, sorry, I'm circling back to this. But while we were going through the ice bath, I was like, oh, so where did you learn this, you know? Like this whole thing. And she goes like, she learned it from the OG Wim Hof. Like, that guy has been an idol, like, for me. Like, I've been looking up to this guy, his processes, the way he's living life, his story, and she learned it from him. I was like, I'm going to enjoy this experience even more. Yeah, that was me. Because, I've been like a fangirl of like him in some way or another. So, to meet someone who has learned this from him, yeah, it's pretty mind-blowing.
So, Natasha, what do you want to try next?
Honestly speaking, something relaxing. After the 2 modalities we went through, I feel like I really need something that I don't need to kind of work on too much. I wonder what that would be. Tell me you have some ideas in mind.
What if we do sound healing?
That would help. I mean, I love the sound of sound. So
yes.
we could try that.
Yes. So to watch this and more such experiences, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. And for something fun, maybe what you can do is comment down below, what do you want us to experience? And we'll go for it. Right? So don't forget to like,
share,
subscribe,
and please comment about what you thought about our experience.
Yes. And hit the notification bell, okay?
Ding! Bye!
Bye! Bye! Bye!
Bye!